I wake here again, now and then. Take all that I have to give, and when I find a time, reason and rhyme, payment for my crime.
You are Desmond Wales, the psychiatrist of a small town called Milton Haven. Your job is to help the people of this town with their mental problems. However, from the very first moment, something isn't right. In fact, nothing is right.
They say curiosity killed the cat. I killed the cat. Curiosity only brought her to me.
You wake up in this worn-down storage area and slowly make your way through the building, finding tools to help you out and ways to access other areas. You find your way to your office, and after a rude call, you stumble upon a brightly lit door. Inside is your home. How? Don't ask me. But we get our first cassette tape, our first window into the past. Maybe inside these recordings of your sessions you've had with your patients, you can learn to make sense of your situation. Maybe. I will return to the story in full later, but right now I would rather discuss the non-spoiler parts of the game. Okay, let's start big. The music is done by the Living Toombstone. Internet legend, the Living Toombstone. The person behind the Five Nights at... the person behind the Five Nights at Freddy's song everybody knows. And many more, like My Ordinary Life, Beep Beep, I'm a Sheep. It doesn't matter if you haven't heard his name. You most likely already heard his music somewhere on the internet. And oh my god, the Xena Disappoint. The music is fitting to each of the locations you will be visiting and to the people the tapes belong to, reflecting their characters through the music. And there's plenty of good ambient tracks to take the lead when music would be too much.
was worth a shot. This looks weak.
And when you need even less, they aren't afraid of using silence. You can even find secret music records that you can play in your office, and oh my god, they're so good!
Wake. Try to be good for goodness sake. Try to learn from the past, from your mistakes. Do it over, whatever it takes.
Amazing work, Tombstone. Like, hats off to you, honestly. The voice acting is matching the music. Mick Lauer... Wait, Mick? Mick from Sleepycast. Rice Pirate. He's in this! Mick Lauer plays the role of the main character, Desmond Wales, and you can hear it in his voice. When Desmond tries to talk with his patients, you can hear he is being sincere with his words.
It's just sad, you know? It's not fair. I've been getting food and stuff from Eden's Grove for like my whole life. They expect me to just be okay with them ruining this town and forcing me to shop at their place? This makes me really sad. Am I crazy? I am crazy, right?
No. Changes like these can be uncomfortable. Eden's Grove was certainly a staple of the community.
But you can also tell when he starts to get a bit uncomfortable, not knowing the perfect thing to say, so he sometimes sounds like a therapist pre-recording.
Perhaps we should discuss your approach in a calm...
No. In fact, if they don't hire me back right away, there'll be hell to pay. I'm going.
You're required to stay for the full session, Mr. Nygaard.
Oh yeah? Try and stop me.
His voice sounds real, and it sells the story even more. And that goes for all the voice actors. Each one conveys their character through their voice so well, you can hear the emotions they are going through. Like they're right there, having a session with you.
They did. They look at me with pity. I look back at them with hatred. I hate her. I hate everyone.
I understand.
Stop looking at me.
The sound effects accompany the music and voice acting with their quality. I don't want to give specific picks, just because it would be here forever, but I will just say it like this. The game has great sound effects, and when big things happen, the sound is really there to convey the size and power to you. Before I get into the gameplay, I would like to point one major thing out. As you may have already seen in the footage, the game doesn't run perfectly. Part of the reason is my computer. It's not the high-end beast it used to be 7 years ago, so it can struggle sometimes. But part of it is also the optimization of the game. It has a very indie feel to it, like certain effects tanking FPS. This is usually fine unless you are in a fight where it can get really annoying. I personally don't mind low or inconsistent FPS, but I know some people love it crispy clean, so for those of you watching, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. This game is your standard survival horror game full of non-standard experiences. From the start, I want to make one thing clear. This is a horror game full of horror monsters, but horror games and their monsters fall into two categories in my mind. Run and hide, where you are meant to be afraid of the monster and try to avoid it at all costs, with the game making it harder for you to properly see the monster in full to let your own imagination go against you. Or understand and outplay, where the monsters can be equally scary, but are usually fully visible and comprehensible, and they are more like a list of mechanics for you to understand and master rather than something to just simply run and hide from. Both types have their ups and their downs, and I like both. But this game is the understand and outplay type a lot more than run and hide. And as for the level of horror or scares you could expect, I would consider this game a great entry-level horror game. As far as I can remember, it didn't use any cheap jump scares that would ruin the atmosphere, and overall it paces horror very well. Also, quick side note while I talk about the monsters and hiding from them. The game has a stealth mechanic, and you can even upgrade your stealth. This is useless. As far as I can tell, from playing the game on hard difficulty, where you want to save ammo and avoid conflict the most, the generic type enemies you will be meeting all throughout the game will spot you way too easily, making any attempt at stealth almost impossible. I found running to be an actually better option in situations where I had no way to defend myself. Speaking of defending myself, what do we have here? A flashlight? Classic. A gun? Not out of the ordinary for this type of game. A shard of glass that lets you see hidden messages in the reflection? Alright, that's definitely new. Pills. Just like pills? Wait, they're weaponized? So yeah, the game has a wide variety of tools to use, and they give you a wide range of utility from bait to puzzle solving. I will keep the rest a secret since they are connected to the story and your progress, but the game uses them all well and they do a good job of being useful long after the area in which you first find them. So, back to the gun. How's the shooting? Clunky? Stiff? Survival horror-like? I understand if some don't like it, I personally don't mind. With how well everything in the game has been made, I can only guess this was a design choice to lessen the power you feel by having a gun, which in a horror game is quite important. That's the player's tools done, but your tools are only one part. You also need a fun, well-made environment to use them in. And fun and well-made they are. While you start out in plain wrecked buildings and a shopping center for your first level, even these hold fascinating places and puzzles, usually requiring you to walk around, getting to know the place and finding supplies along the way. You got food to restore health, batteries for your flashlight, bullets for your guns, the usual. The batteries being, in my opinion, a little over-generous. Even on hard difficulty, I didn't really find myself below 50% battery for most of the game, though there were a few tight spots. Though I have beaten Amnesia on hardcore, so resource conservation is sorta in my blood. The other resources come in way less frequently, however, or give you only small amounts to keep you looking for more and be ready for when things get tough. You can expect your fair serving of ambushes and fights stacked heavily against you, though you are given useful environment hazards you can use against your enemies, like exploding boxes, barrels, and even landmines, if you pay attention to your surroundings, that is. Which are just beautiful. They are given so much love with lighting, composition, everything just coming together to make something beautiful. Each area you visit has its moments, but I won't show many because I would really like you to experience them yourself. Besides, they don't have as much oomph behind them without the proper context. One strong suit of the gameplay is creativity. The developers really went wild with just how many weird and scary things they included. Playing with your mind by shifting layouts or making things appear and disappear from thin air. Even well-known horror game tricks and cliches are given a unique twist to them that make them feel really new. I can't count the amount of times I was expecting the game to pull a trick I've already seen 100 times on me, only to pull the rug from underneath my legs and send me tumbling down a completely different thrill ride. And don't worry, this isn't a spoiler. Those who know, I have never, ever had to make as many double checks to make sure I really saw what I think I saw than the helmets in the fourth tape. And the horror is not the only aspect of the game with lots of creativity in it. From the very first time you boot the game up, you are given complete permission to use any part of the game in any video or stream. I mean, talk about developers that love creativity. And the game is full of little details that just show you how much they loved what they were making and what type of people they are.
Good kitty. Good kitty. Nope.
This game feels like my friends made it for me. On the negative side, the game is really handholdy sometimes. For example, the glass shard you have. You can sometimes find broken glass on the floor that indicates there is something of interest here that you can only see using the shard. This is perfect. It gives you a clear way of knowing when to look around, so you don't have to constantly double check if the other dimension has goodies or not. And you even have an audio cue from the glass, so even if you missed it with your eyes, your ears can hear it if you walk across. This by itself would have sufficed more than enough. However, you are constantly given notes, sometimes just blatantly telling you to use the glass shard and look around. You don't go, here's a puzzle and here's how to solve it. It's only a minor thing, but please, let me wrinkle my brain trying to figure out the puzzle. Thankfully, this isn't too bad. Usually you are left to figure things out for yourself, and overall, I didn't feel like the game simply let me beat it. I still earned the ending, and some new neuron connections had to be made to get there. Now, I would like to get into the story, so spoilers are unavoidable, and I would like to ask anyone even considering to play the game to leave here. It's really, really good. Just go play it yourself. So, a quick refresh. You woke up in an abandoned building, got your bearings, some equipment, and headed up to the second floor, where your office is located. Upon entering, the phone rings.
There he is. Long have I waited for this moment, to watch as you scramble for your last breath, as you try to make sense of your reality and the gravity it carries, pulling you down. Ooh, I can't contain my excitement.
The voice on the phone belongs to someone who we'll meet soon enough. For now, let's just call him the stranger. You explore the second floor some more until you find a brightly lit door. Upon entering it, you are transported into your home. Inside is the usual: food, some papers, a guitar. A TV and a phone that do not work. And a locked bedroom and an empty bathroom. On the table of the living room, a white cassette tape. You take it and make your way back to your office. Put it inside the recorder and... you step into the light. The next time you open your eyes, you are in a weird, dreamlike dimension. Endless oceans with rocky spires sticking up from the water like sharp talons, giant cassette tapes looming far in the background. You find posts with recorders attached to them, and they shine a bit more light on your situation.
In an unexpected turn of events, it seems I'm the one who's losing my mind. Why or how this is all happening is beyond me. But as strange as this is, I'm equally as fascinated as I am scared. Life in Milton Haven has become unfamiliar lately. People are... Hell, I'm starting to see unusual patterns, behaviors. Ever since the crash, maybe. It's beginning to make sense, I suppose. My own feelings of dread, of fear, are similar to those of my patients. My patients were dropping like flies, dying. Oh, poor Virginia. I should go over their cases. I need to understand what this is. If I can get through this, if I can just keep my mind focused, I must stay aware, awake, alert.
You're back at the office. The lights turn on with a buzz, and you're greeted by a cat sitting on your desk. She paws off an elevator button, and now we are able to go to the first floor. But before that...
Good kitty.
You head out of your office and...
Do you know how...
I can sneak past it. I know I can.
You meet the void creatures for the first time.
This elevator button is missing.
One thing I would like to stop and mention here are the phone calls you get. They are a constant throughout the game, all from the stranger we heard earlier, and a lot of the early ones are him just mocking you. Now, this isn't bad. You can hang up any time you want, and I really like that choice. You even get an achievement for the first time you do it. It's just an interesting design choice to have the, so far, most antagonistic character call the players and sometimes belittle them, other times giving them clues or telling them about the people who we will be dealing with later. I'm just a bit confused as a developer. Do you want me to listen to him? He sometimes has really interesting things to say, and I really want to hear that, but other times it's just, oh, aren't you a loser, little piss boy, gonna cry? Anyway, moving on. You head down to the first floor, where you find a piece of paper detailing where to find 3 parts of a handgun that you can assemble, and the room of your first patient, Virginia Rule, and a tape recording of your session with her. You take this tape upstairs to your office and... step into the light. From the very first words, we can tell she isn't doing well.
It's just sad, you know? It's not fair. I've been getting food and stuff from Eden's Grove for like my whole life. They expect me to just be okay with them ruining this town and forcing me to shop at their place? This makes me really sad. Am I crazy? I am crazy, right?
No. Changes like these can be uncomfortable. Eden's Grove was certainly a staple of the community.
I can't get my food at Home-A-Mart. I won't.
Well, what other options do we have? Perhaps outside of Milton Haven?
No, that's even further outside where I feel safe.
I understand. And believe that there's an opportunity here to work on our exercises in small and timely steps. I can see you're getting nervous. That's okay.
I know. I'm sorry. What if it overwhelms me?
We focus on the breath. Remember, you can call me if you need to.
Unlike our tape, the adventure doesn't end here. Welcome to Home-A-Mart. A note on the ground tells us of an incident that resulted in the temporary closure of the store. Exploring around, it doesn't take you too long before you meet this masked female. You can only guess is Virginia, or some part of her. You only see her for a brief moment, but you already know you're not alone in here. Some pathways are blocked by police tape, and well, we operate on video game logic here. If it's there, you cannot get through. Can't jump above it. The only way through is with something sharp. And this mirror plays so perfectly.
Sharp as a knife.
This is where we are introduced to one of the unique mechanics of the game. The broken glass shard allows us to peek into a sort of altered reality, where we can see things that we wouldn't be able to otherwise. Face the mirror, face your fears, and it's officially gaming time. Whoever this apparition is, she doesn't like us looking at her. She even wears a mask to hide her own face. However, using the mirror to spot her and avoid her doesn't seem to bother her. So we explore the mall, seeking any answers to the many, many questions we have. Alright, so we have to let her ram into the mirrors. Simple enough. I won't go too into detail here, since the mall serves as a learning ground for the player. It's the first proper level, and so it's a bit slower and less action-packed, as some later levels might be. One part I really liked was this TV puzzle you have to do. A shadow-covered girl is shown on a giant TV, and you have to turn each of the eyes on the surrounding televisions to face her and make her lash out. Talk about exposure therapy, am I right? Also, mannequin gamers. Yeah, these mannequin dolls help you out in the entire level, like letting you reach places too high up, and they even come back later in the game, but we'll get there when we get there. We also run into the stranger several times. Sometimes he's just taunting us, and other times he's putting us in direct danger of death. You slowly discover ways of accessing and luring Virginia to the many mirrors sprinkled throughout the mall, and along that, slowly chip at her mask as well as discover what went down inside the Homer Mart. Milton Haven Sheriff's Department Incident Report. On Wednesday afternoon, the Sheriff's Department received a call from Mr. Anderson Parker, manager at Home Mart department store, about a distraught woman screaming, breaking various items in the store. Dispatch sent a call. And also a dollhouse, with a note, most likely written by Virginia herself, where she talks about a crash that ruined her life. Snoop around, and you discover even more about the incident at Homer Mart. Upon arrival on the scene, the suspect had already self-inflicted a stab wound to her abdomen and a fatal wound across her neck. Paramedics were called and police tape was used to seal off the crime scene for investigation. Suspect was identified as Miss Virginia Rule, who apparently had issue being seen in public and or seeing her own reflection. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Taking statements from co-workers and shoppers, it seems Miss Rule had a panic attack, which resulted in the accidental breaking of a mirror. Due to the mishandling of the situation by people around her at the time, a quick escalation resulted in Miss Rule taking her own life using a shard of broken mirror glass. There's no evidence of foul play, though I suspect she might have been in relations with a staff member named David. We'll go back for questioning. After you gather all the dolls and place them in their respective place within the house, it opens a pathway behind it and reveals a note left by the stranger. Going inside, you enter a Coraline-type tunnel leading to the toy section, a land of glitter and toys. Collecting all the letter blocks and arranging them properly blurs out Virginia one last time.
My mask! My mask!
Her mask, now shattered, she has nowhere to hide her face. And when we find her, broken and weak, we comfort her and allow her spirit to let go of the pain she carried in her life. However, something isn't adding up to Desmond.
It's okay. I see you. You can rest now.
Thank you.
I don't think Virginia would be capable of doing something like this without some sort of outside influence. I promise you, Miss Rule, I'll get to the bottom of this.
Now, with her spirit free, we can leave Homer Mart, knowing we did all we could, and promising to find out if anything else had to do with this. On our way back, we are treated to more recordings of our session with Virginia.
I think I'm ready now. We can talk about the scars. My face.
If you'd like, yes.
I appreciate you not asking me about them. I mean, I do see you looking at them. Everyone does all the time anyway.
I'm listening.
When I was a kid, my mom, she used to sign me up for like Little Miss whatever the hell, you know, like these beauty pageants. For this one, I was practicing at home, and I was in the bathroom just playing with like some of my mom's makeup, and then sorry.
Take your time.
I just slipped. I don't know. I lost my balance and I grabbed the mirror cabinet and the whole thing just fell apart. I hate her, my mother. She made me go anyway.
Made you go where?
Out. To the pageant, to school, everywhere, with a busted up face and stitches. She's a monster and a liar. She told me I was still pretty. She said people wouldn't judge me. Guess what? They did. They look at me with pity. I look back at them with hatred. I hate her. I hate everyone.
I understand.
Stop looking at me.
What happened to her to send her off the edge so far?
Desmond, darling?
Who said that?
Why, I did, of course.
How? You can talk now?
I mean, you could argue that I always could, and you just didn't care to listen. Look, let's not waste any more time on how unbelievable this all may be and tackle the situation at hand. You are going to die, Desmond, if you do not get to the bottom of all this madness. Simply, you must keep a level head and find a way through this. I will help you as best as I possibly can. Now, concentrate. Who might have some answers?
I don't know. This is weird.
Patience, Desmond. Patience and grace.
Patience? My patience?
Don't you find it curious? You can enter Virginia's apartment and she doesn't even live here. Something strange is happening. You would benefit from knowing what that is.
It sounds like a plan.
Don't you have better things to do?
Anyway, exploring some more, we find another room belonging to our patient, Alan. Inside, we find a note discussing his anger, and next to it, a yellow tape. There is more to his house, but we cannot access it due to a thick darkness stopping us anytime we try. So we leave. On our way back, we get another call from our friend the stranger.
Alan Shore, the one-man freak show, who made all your other patients seem well-adjusted by comparison. From the first moment he stepped into your office, you knew he was doomed. Have fun.
Is there a link between Virginia and Alan? I wouldn't rule it out.
I guess I'm about to find out.
Be careful, Desmond.
Once more onto the breach.
Watch yourself out there.
Okay, Mr. Shore, tape's running. Thank you for agreeing to be recorded.
Oh, should I just start talking? What do you want to know?
What made you decide to seek counseling?
Ah, man, Doc, it's just weird. As in, I feel weird, like I'm weird all the time, you know? I'm not saying this right. People think I'm weird, and it's cool, I am, but I shouldn't feel weird, right?
How exactly do you feel weird?
Off, odd, slightly tilted. I've had these nightmares ever since I can remember. I've always had these horrific dreams I can't explain. And they recur. Man, like there are themes in them that keep coming back. And honestly, Doc, it's been such a constant that I shape my life around them, you know?
Have you ever seen anyone about these recurring nightmares?
Like a shrink like you? No. Honestly, for the longest time, I thought it was normal life to wake up sweating, to see things in the dark, frightful things.
What is it that frightens you, Alan?
See, that's the thing I don't get. My whole life, I could feel the presence of shadows. I could hear sorrow in the dark. It's poetic, man, I know. I got so used to being paralyzed by dread that I began to like it. And people notice, you know, I say weird stuff sometimes, I guess. At some point, I just decided to live comfortably in this reality, maintaining a beacon of light over a sea of darkness, alone and afraid. But I'd be lying if I didn't admit that I'm being swallowed by darkness or sinking in the depths. It makes me feel alive, man. It's electric.
A lighthouse operator with a fear of the dark. After entering the door, you find yourself on a moonlit beach. Walking along the shore, there's no lighthouse to speak of, only shipwreck after shipwreck. A light suddenly shines brightly from within a small shed as you approach. Alan's light. The bright red light of the lighthouse becomes a constant threat as you try to reach it. Slowly, you make your way to Point Icarus, and on the way, you get the feeling there's something else out there. At the peak, you find the lighthouse. It's locked and protected by the Shade, a manifestation of Alan's fear of the dark. You find a note on the side of the lighthouse door. This maniac probably melted the keys to all of these doors along with his damned house. When management hears about this, it's gonna be your ass. Get someone to go in there and fish them out if they still exist. I'm not setting a foot in there. The whole thing seems unstable and smells of burnt human flesh. Did Alan burn himself alive? Inside Alan's cabin, it soon becomes clear that, yes, this was Alan's work. Of all the nightmares I had today, this must be the worst. Well, I went out and there was an accident. Oh God, it's all my fault. I was in the tower when it happened. I took the route down the cliffs and to the boathouse, falling as I fumbled around, unable to see. That ship is Death. It bears Death's name. I managed to find one of those flare guns from inside the belly of the beast. I'm not afraid to use it. The monsters I was told that I was making up have now stepped forth out of the shadows. By my light, the darkness will burn. I need to call Desmond. He would understand. But what's all this about a boat? Aren't we here to fix Alan's fear of the dark? Anyway, you light your way through the darkness of the house, escaping the shade with the courtyard key in hand. And the game makes it really clear here that you're supposed to take everything you get with you at all times. You have these fuses you can use to light up the area, but they are in limited supply. And they will be required later on, so you better start taking them whenever you don't need them anymore. Using the fuses, you head down to the cliffside, and while being bombarded by the shade, you get into a small shack with a lowerable boat. And of course, things can't be easy, can they?
Bon voyage!
You make your way across the broken shore. Shipwrecks and what I can only guess is whale bones litter the ground. And these barrels and ooze. It's everywhere. And soon, you find its source. Stay the out of Thanatos. It's not safe. There's a major... That stuff is everywhere. It's highly dangerous, flammable, and will... as a kite in a matter of minutes. The captain and the crew were medevac too.
Things keep getting stranger.
Okay. After this ordeal, you are on the Thanatos again. But it's alive. It's on the sea and sailing. On the edge of the railing, you can see the lighthouse and the lights of Milton. You're back on Thanatos before it crashed. Oh. Ghosts of dead crew members rush around you in panic as you climb up to the bridge. There's a call waiting for you.
The sun melted away the wax in his wings, and Icarus fell out of the sky and into the ocean where he drowned. You're flying too close to the sun, Desmond. Bad things happen to those who snoop.
Screw it. Here goes nothing.
Now, flare gun in hand, you get down from the Thanatos while being assaulted by these void creatures along with that stranger. You get up on the pier and enter Milton Wharf. Nothing too eventful happens here, so I'll just skip over it. It's mainly just puzzles. Besides the crane crash, that's pretty cool. Now, back at the lighthouse, bombarded along the way, you make it and blow the blockade away. I had a nightmare where I went to that new superstore. A lady with blood coming out of her neck threw glass at me. I might not have been dreaming. It's unclear. I haven't slept in 3 days. How does Alan know about Virginia? Was he in the store when she broke down? You also find a newspaper talking about how strange the circumstances of Alan's death were. Alan's a pretty strange dude, but setting fire to his own house? I don't know if he's capable of doing something like that, said Frankie Nielsen, a frequent visitor to Icarus Point. Why would Alan have a flare gun in his possession? An item more commonly found on ships out at sea than at a lighthouse. The water gets muddled even further when considering Alan's call to the police shortly before the incident, which mentioned men in black, going to and from the ship crash site at Patmos Beach. Did Alan see something he shouldn't have, or is this just a product of a mentally unstable man's imagination? Only Alan Shore can answer these questions, and he may never wake again. Things definitely aren't adding up. There's something bigger at play here. It has to be. Unlocking the door and climbing up, you fight the red light within the lighthouse and replace it with a new one.
Time to shed some light. Of course, no power.
And after a small trip to the generator, you walk up the lighthouse for the final time.
It's okay. The ship, the fire, those weren't your fault. Whatever this chemical is, it's gotta be the source.
Don't want to be afraid anymore.
You're braver than you know. Alan's madness came on just as suddenly as Virginia's did. I have no doubt their cases are linked. I need to follow the chemical trail, see where it takes me.
Alan is laid to rest, but our questions only multiply. We have to find out what's going on here.
You've reached the office of Dr. Desmond Wales. Please leave a message after the tone.
Doc? Doc, are you there? Why would you be there? It's the middle of the goddamn night. This is bad, man. I don't even know what's happening. I swear, Doc, I didn't even know it was supposed to come through. I'm pretty good at getting a copy of the log from the wharf. I know what's coming in. It's not even my job. I just like to be prepared. But that ship, it said nothing about that ship, man. And then the bulb quit on me, man, when I needed it the most. It quit on me. Everything was so dark. And then boom! The ground is shaking. I went down there. I wanted to help. I wanted to make sure no one was hurt. But man, I don't know. There are monsters down there, Doc. I swear. I can see them in the shadows. They move around when I'm not looking. They try and grab me into the floor, Doc. I'm losing it. I found one of those flare guns. Someone must have dropped it. Gotta fight darkness with light. How could I not see it sooner? Gotta fight. Wait. They're here. They're here. The men in black. Oh, weird. That guy Nygaard is here. I've seen him around. Around you, man. I gotta warn them, Doc. They don't know about the monsters. Gotta fight the darkness with light, man.
You're back. Good. I was getting worried. Things are starting to become unstable around here.
How so?
The ground is shaking and the water outside is rising.
I know what happened to Alan.
I know. I saw. Alan mentioned that driver you were treating. Max Nygaard? Classic bag of cats, that guy. There's probably a door to his house here as well.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
You haven't been petting other cats, have you?
Heading down, we enter Max's house and find several documents that clue us in on what he's dealing with. Max, Alice tells me you punched a hole for your garage wall in the middle of the night. For real? She said Madison's room is on the other side of that wall. Look, this is your family and your business. I keep my thoughts to myself, but if you need someone to help you fix up that drywall, let me know. Maybe we can chat while we do it. Either you're stronger than you look, or your walls are weak. Worth looking into. Your friend, Andy. The Superior Court of the State of Washington in and for Virgil County, in the case of Max Nygaard versus Alice Nygaard, ordered that sole custody of minor Madison Nygaard shall remain with the defendant, Alice Nygaard. The plaintiff, Max Nygaard, is denied visitation rights due to repeated incidents of domestic disturbance. Moreover, the restraining order issued on behalf of the defendant against the plaintiff shall remain in effect for the remainder of its duration. The court may reconsider its decision at a later date, provided the plaintiff undergoes mental health treatment and receives a positive evaluation from a mental health expert, in addition to maintaining stable employment. And there's also a locked door, the door to his daughter's room. Maybe we can enter later. Heading back, we're once again interrupted in our quest by the stranger.
So, you're heading into Nygaard's tape, are you? I strongly suggest you don't. You're not equipped, not strong enough. He'll kill you. And that's my job.
So who was Max working for? And what were they doing with those chemicals?
We're about to find out.
I never liked that guy. Watch yourself around him.
Next tape.
I'll hold down the fort.
Why do you even want to record this? What's in it for you? Blackmail?
Never. Mr. Nygaard, if you're not comfortable being recorded, I'll turn it right off.
No, I got nothing to hide. We're here for the truth, right? Court-ordered truth, right?
Yes, the court did mandate these sessions, but this is a place where we'll work on healing, and generally speaking, the truth is good for that.
Well, I ain't no liar. Not like Alice says.
Alice is your ex-wife.
She's my wife. I didn't sign no paper that says otherwise. Everybody's trying to upend my life here. Trying to ruin my marriage. Take my kid away and turn her against me. Next is what? You want to take away my rights? My freedom? Tell you what, why don't you give me them pills you're probably paid to give out, and I'll pretend like I take them, so I can go home.
I'm a therapist, Max, not a psychiatrist. I don't prescribe medication. I am here to help. We can work our way around to talking about Alice later. Tell me, how do you feel about your work at the quarry?
Quarry's dead. Meyer bought up all that land. I drive for them now. Not that it makes any difference. Driving is driving. Gotta help them deliver some big shipment one of these nights, and they're being all secretive about it. But I don't care what the job is, I'll do it. Use the money to pay for my little girl's college, because guess what? I am a good father, despite what they say.
Mayer Pharmaceutical. That name's been going around way too much. We enter a railroad painted in reds by the setting sun, and at its end, the gate to the quarry. A note on the security booth's desk tells us about an incident that happened at the quarry recently. Bob, you're a likable guy, but the next time you let anyone into the quarry without properly checking their credentials first, I will personally make sure you never find work in this town again. That former employee you let through put our entire operation in jeopardy, not to mention the property damage he caused with his bullish shenanigans, which is why we're significantly docking your pay for this month. No more mistakes. A worker had caused a lot of property damage in some wild tantrum. It's not clearly stated, but we can derive that they're most likely talking about Max. We blow the gate wide open and enter. Exploring around, we find a note confirming Max as the one responsible for the incident. We assemble a cart to ram our way through the gate that blocks our path, but not before meeting a new enemy type. The big guy packs a punch, and can take it just as well. Using the explosives around the yard, we can dispose of him quickly though. We make our way further into the train yard, and out into the nearby cave. And I just want to say, wow. I mean, look at the beautiful forest. The golden hues of the sunset. Man. But our goal isn't out here. Welcome in. What a fucking introduction. I mean, you expect something to come out at you, but oh my god, that design is fucking brutal. So anyway, you get the hell out of there using Max and his anger to break open the doors leading to the hangar, while avoiding his bull charges and the exhaust gas he sprays you with if you hide from him. We want to get to the quarry, but of course it's a bit more complex than that. If you want to progress, we have to fix this elevator. For that we need a screwdriver, unscrew the covers, blah 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 blah. These power chips are the key ingredient. This is the main puzzle mechanic of this level, and you better not leave them behind, because the game really expects you to pick them up after using them. Thankfully, this is reinforced to you by the game, leaving almost everything you open with the chips permanently unlocked, so no worries there. Using the chips, and Max, we get into the power segment of the quarry, and I want to highlight a bit of gameplay here. You're shown that you can use these power pylons to lure the void creatures into them and save yourself some ammo, some effort as well. But you aren't told this by a note or a voice message. You just plug the chip in and observe. And if you keep this in mind, later in the power station you find a lot more, which you can use to fight off an ambush the stranger sends at you. Gameplay that rewards paying attention and not being afraid to fuck around and find out, I have to praise. I would like to see a lot more of this in video games. Fixing the elevator and riding it up, we enter the main building of the quarry company, now bought out by Mayer Pharmaceutical.
Perhaps he wouldn't have thrown such a tantrum, because that's all it is. The whiny tantrum of a man unable to control himself. Yes, control is the name of the game. You figure out how it's played.
We find a paper detailing the ingredients of a so-called lure pill, which it seems we need to proceed further into the quarry. This section is mostly exploration and puzzle solving, so I'll just skip most of the unimportant stuff. Collecting the different ingredients, we are given information to what they are and their effects on the human body. Display sedative, hypnotic, depressant, and hallucinogenic psychoactivity. A powerful neurotoxin. Chemical substance has been found to have aggregation effects. Volatile reaction to ancient rainbow. What were they cooking here? Getting up to the third floor, we are greeted by a familiar but unknown voice.
Research of fear.
Who is this? And what is she talking about? how does she know any of this? No answers. Maybe later. Side note, I just really like the ambient music on the third floor. In the office of Mr. Hill, we find more information regarding Max and the incident. Regarding Max, let me get this straight. You hired a driver without a proper background check, who then proceeds to crash one of our delivery trucks while carrying important cargo, and when rightfully terminated, comes crashing into the quarry with his own truck, demanding his job back? This is a major screw-up. Do you realize your poor decision-making has put the entire facility in harm's way? He broke Gary from Electrical's jaw just for getting in his way. Max Nygaard isn't salt of the earth. He's dirt. I found it hard to believe that anyone in this big, wild world cares about this madman. But it doesn't matter. Take care of him. And a paper from the Central Intelligence Bureau that gives us just a hint of how deep things really go. Agent Bird, your incident report is extremely worrisome. Letting the transport ship under your watch makes us question your capability as a field operative. The successful resurrection of after lying dormant for 30 years depends on our ability to maintain a low profile. This is why Milton Haven was site. The damage control you've performed does not alleviate our concerns. All it takes is one busybody with a camera that for our feet to be held to the fire. It's only a matter of time before the starts populace. We have a cover story prepared, but it'll only buy us a limited amount of time before the local media starts asking too many questions. If you do not wish to spend the next 5 years at one of our secure facilities, we suggest you get results soon. Exploring further, various papers and notes relating to someone called Rosemary and their research. Your research proposition is quite fascinating, Rosemary. I never would have thought to integrate electromagnetic radiation via radio into our research. If you're serious about presenting this to the higher-ups, then you have my blessing. Seth. One of the scientists, Rosemary James, has presented an intriguing complementary research proposition and has asked to establish a research station by the radio tower in Elysium State Park. Normally, I wouldn't bother you with such a request, but our lack of progress here is getting worrisome. I've looked into the premises. It's technically government property, but no one set foot in there for years. Requesting expedited clearance. William Bird, Liaison. Another highlight of this area is this room, where we're locked in by the stranger and left to find a way out. Using the mirror, we can see invisible piping leading all the way up. And this is fun. I just really liked it and wanted to highlight it. It was a fun puzzle. One more puzzle with Max, giving us a nice visit, and all the ingredients are ready. Using all the ingredients, we mix them together using a processing machine, and are given the lure pill. A tool we can use to lure enemies, but it also reacts violently with the aforementioned Agent Rainbow, allowing us to clear obstacles we couldn't before, as well as being able to eat the pill itself to give ourselves a small health boost and a small stat boost, like being faster. Now with the pills in hand, you can leave back to the hangar and continue the level. However, if you took your time, you may have discovered this lab door on the 3rd floor. It requires all 3 chips and a keycard to open. You can unlock a shortcut to the elevator, and salvage the tier 3 chip we used before, and together with the rest and a keycard located on the 3rd floor, we can open it.
From the war. A connection. Radio waves. Rainbow could be possible.
Inside, we find several papers regarding the experiments that went down here, and also information regarding the side effects of Agent Rainbow. Agent Rainbow is comprised of the following: tryptopsyban mushroom, xanographazole, and methamin. Past experimentation concluded in effects such as amnesia, hysteria, psychosis, and hallucinations. See references BZ Ultra, the Montauk files. Clearance required. BZ Ultra? Like MK Ultra? Oh brother, what are we in for? Another paper only confirms this. Mayor Pharma has been testing psychoactive drugs on animals here. All of them dying as a result. This has to be linked to our patients and all the incidents surrounding their deaths. And that name again, Rosemary. For now, we still have Max to take care of. Heading back, we lure him into breaking open the path forward and make it the quarry itself. But not before another call from our dear stranger.
All this for what? You're very much alike, you and Max. Your priorities are all jumbled up. All you had to do was stay away. This whole situation is draining. Well, you wave the red flag, El Matador. You deal with this bull.
The quarry is completely flooded with Agent Rainbow, so we have to drain it while luring Max away using the pills. Now, whether the real quarry was also used as a dump for Agent Rainbow, or this is simply a manifestation inside the tape, is unsure, but it wouldn't surprise me from everything we've seen so far. At the bottom, we confront Max. We try to talk him into calming down, but he's too consumed by his anger. Seeing we have no other choice, we lure him into pillars around the quarry to reveal an opening, where we throw the calming pills in the effort that maybe this will help us calm him down, at least until we can get through to him. After a few good throws, Max calms down and asks us to hook him up to the wreckage of his car, crashed in the bottom of the quarry.
It's okay. She will always be your daughter. You will always be her dad. Max tried to fight back and died for it. Your death won't be in vain. Thank you for leading me here.
Wasn't any violence in my upbringing. There was discipline, and yeah, sometimes it hurt, but get that dumbass cat out of here, I'm gonna toss it out the window. Damn thing makes my nose itch.
Tanya, out. Let's not threaten the cat. I'll keep her outside.
I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. Look, I'm willing to admit that I get angry sometimes, but there's a lot of stuff that's pissing me off, Doc.
Like what?
I lost my job. I don't even really know why, or those Meyer bastards. So I had a small accident with that shipment of pharmaceutical juice or whatever. So what? Don't I get any credit for 20 years of flawless driving? Man, whatever that shit was made me feel sick to my stomach. Damn stuff's probably toxic too, seeing as I can't even recall it fully, and it was only 2 nights ago.
That must be very frustrating. How often would you you say you feel...
God damn it! You know what? How am I supposed to show the court I've got my life together if I ain't got no job for no real reason? I've a good mind to go back to the quarry and have a nice long chat with those Meyer folk. Maybe I'll take that army hippie guy with me. He said he'll give me $200 if I can get him into the quarry.
Perhaps we should discuss your approach in a calm...
No. In fact, if they don't hire me back right away, there'll be hell to pay. I'm going.
You're required to stay for the full session, Mr. Nygaard.
Oh yeah? Try and stop me.
Something about a father just wanting to make things right. It's real hard. Max had anger issues, but above all else, he put his daughter. There is no way he would end his life like this and leave her alone. No way. We have to get to the bottom of this. For Virginia. For Alan. For Max.
I don't understand. How could Meyer do something like this?
Because they think they could get away with it. Listen, someone called here while you were out. It sounded urgent. You should check your messages ASAP.
Gotcha.
Dr. Wales, you there? Listen, the meeting went bad. They took her, man. I barely escaped. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're after me, and they might be coming after you too, just for seeing me. I'm sorry. Please contact me so we can figure this out. And don't drink from the tap.
Isn't that Lucas Cole, one of your patients?
Yes. Though he didn't show for his last appointment.
You should call him back.
Phones haven't really been working in my favor.
Guess we have to do this the hard way. Lucas had a cabin in the forest, didn't he? You should try and see if you can access it from the building. Maybe there's something there that'll help us make contact with him.
Or a tape.
While you're at it, you should check out what's happening downstairs. This place is falling apart.
On our way down, we're rudely interrupted once again. But thankfully, our companion comes to save our hide.
Did you call elevator service? A grown man being bailed out by a cat. Come on, let's go. So this is what happens when I'm not around. Huh. Have you stopped to wonder what the tapes really mean to you? They're not just recordings of your patients, that's for sure. You've listened to their stories and troubles, but what of your own? Who decides the story of Desmond Wales? It's not too late, you know, to make a change. Your story's not set in stone. I could really go for a cheeseburger right about...
Arriving at the entryway, the building is beginning to flood. Our only place of relative safety slowly beginning to crumble. You make it to Lucas's cabin, and you can tell he's not the everyday man. His house resembles a prepper's bunker more than a place to live, and we can find research Lucas has done on the pills we recently received, and notes about Meyer and the Central Intelligence Bureau following their incidents and chemical research closely, monitoring their profits and locations. If there's anyone that can help us, it's him.
When I tell you to do something, you ignore me. But when a disheveled maniac like Lucas gives you false hope, you obey him without question? At this point, it's hard not to take it as an insult. There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. There's only me.
Lucas could be your ticket out of here. You have to contact him.
I'll find a way.
Whatever you see when you're there, don't let it hinder you. Keep going.
Next tape.
Good luck.
Unlike our other patients, Lucas is still alive. If there's any chance we can contact him for help, we have to take it.
Nice place you got here. Cozy. And this table? Is it mahogany or oak? I actually have no idea. Alright, Mr. Cole. Why don't you sit down so we can start with the basics? Have you ever had therapy or counseling before? Straight to the point, huh, Doc? Sorry, You're not the first therapist I've met with, but I sometimes find it difficult to open up. Past therapy sessions were very productive. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not a super social guy, so you're the first person I've spoken more than a sentence with since I moved here. About a month ago. In that case, welcome to Milton Haven. Thanks. Well, since I'm on the road so much, I tend to keep to myself, but sometimes I feel like paying people to talk to me. I just got a little cabin just outside of town. It's a nice upgrade from living in a van crammed with gear. So, what brings you here? That's a good question. I need help staying sane. You see, how this usually goes is that I tell you, the therapist, a story from my time in the armed forces of horrifying experiments, government conspiracies, and cover-ups. Then at some point, you're gonna give me the look. The look? The look you're giving me right now. The look that says I'm talking to a lunatic. Lunatic? No. But I am a bit puzzled. I would very much like to hear your story. All right, I'll tell it to you, but I've been made to doubt myself for years, so I hope you'll take it seriously. Take me seriously, and don't give me that look neither. Just let me do the talking for a bit, okay?
Right upon entering his tape properly, we are greeted by a phone call that clears up one thing.
You won't listen to me? Fine. Then I suggest you pay close attention to what he has to say. It's the last bedtime story you'll ever hear. Rainbow. Out.
The stranger we've been seeing all through the tapes, and even within the building, he is Agent Rainbow. Or maybe a manifestation of it. Pushing onwards, we're given our first glimpse of, whatever that was. A gate blocks our path, so we take the only path we can, to a small cabin near the park. Lucas's cabin. Inside, we find more notes written by Lucas. Diary entry 505. Made contact with a scientist working on Agent Rainbow. She told me she could give me the documents to blow the lid off the entire experiment. I'm supposed to meet with her soon. Finally, I'm going to get some answers and a chance at vindication. Log entry 465. Finally some progress. I found a half-burnt memo that mentioned an actual chemical agent tested in the 60s. It said, "Why fight the enemy when you can scare him into submission?" But also said it proved to be too effective, so they shut it down. I guess they decided to bring it out of retirement. Rosemary James, personal log, page 1. Ever since I listened to the deposition of a radio man who survived an encounter with Agent Rainbow in the late 60s, I knew there had to be a connection between radio waves and the way the chemical affects the brain. It's a little known fact that the brain emits electromagnetic radiation, brainwaves, just like a radio does. The difference in frequency is so great, however, that the two never interfere with each other. But with Agent Rainbow, that's no longer the case. In order to understand how Agent Rainbow works, one must not only understand the brain's chemistry, but its mental processes as well. Considering the Jungian concept of the shadow, in simple terms, the dark part of our personality, every undesirable aspect of ourselves we push down and repress, Agent Rainbow brings it all to the surface and gives it form. Facing something like that in such a sudden way is a truly horrifying experience, leading to accelerated mental degradation, followed often by death. And on the table, a radio device. And upon testing it out, a moment later, we're back outside, now ready to open the gate to the park center. Only a few steps inside though, and something already starts to go wrong. A PTSD-like flashback completely consumes us. Gunfire and bombs going off in the background. You make your way through the barbed wire towards the bunker. And there, a giant metallic door with a 4-digit code. We have to find it somehow. Making our way past this thing, we open a path to the West Forest, and then...
To enter the code, 4 towers. Look to the stars.
Good presentation. So we have our 4 beacons. Okay. Water treatment is first, and soon after opening its gate, we can also learn that the radio device we have can be used on the void creatures. You need to find a certain sweet spot to get them, but it saves a lot of ammo. Inside the treatment plant, we find a note relating to the contamination of the water supply, with Mayor, again, pasted all over it. To all water treatment facility employees, we appreciate your continued collaboration as we conduct our investigation into the source of the water contamination. As the investigation pertains to matters of national security, I must inform you that any disclosure of information about the contamination to outside parties may result in incarceration. Let's work together so that Milton Haven can once again have access to clean water. Bill Bird, CIB Liaison. I took a small sample of the contaminated water home for analysis when the CIB weren't looking. What the fuck is this stuff? Within minutes of just being near it, I started feeling oddly afraid and kinda sick. Fortunately, I only took like 3 drops of it, so I don't think the effect is too strong. I don't have all the proper tools at home, but I will say this. Whatever this chemical is that contaminated the water supply, it's bad news. I'm going to use the rest of my sick days and take off until this blows over. I suggest you do the same, Lisa. You also find a valve, and again, the game wants you to take it everywhere you go, so you better not forget it. Getting closer to the tower, the ground beneath you breaks, and you're thrown into the waterways below. This place is a maze, and we need a key to get out. Running around, we find several. Others stranger than the rest, but once you find the right one, you can head back to the exit and Ah. Okay. Okay. Finally, you get up to the water tower and are once again contacted by the female voice.
Look. 2 stars.
That's fucking cool. Next up, the cable cars. Things are going well, and of course that can't last too long. We're ambushed by the sniper and have to make our way into the station, get a pass, and call a cable car down so we can get the hell out of here. All while dodging the sniper bullets or using them to break obstacles in our way. The ride up is anything but smooth, but we learn we can lure him using the pills just like we did with Max. We run for a good while until we reach a dead end, and with nowhere to go, we're royally screwed. Oh, okay. The path to the beacon again logged behind a key. We turn around and... Did I see that right? Anyway, we follow the row of helmets until they lead us towards the door of a diner. Inside, we see party decorations like someone's having a birthday or celebration. Only a couple moments later, though, balloons start to pop. One after another. More and more until... We're in another flashback. Was this something that happened to Lucas? Was he at a party? Maybe a celebration from him returning from the war? Only to have a PTSD flashback? No time to ask questions, Bailey. Barbed wire is everywhere and these ghosts roam the building, hurting us on touch. Using the radio device, we find our way to the keys we saw through the window and use them to shut the gas off, ending the flashback. We make our way to the top of the lookout tower and once again connect the stars. On our way back, we see a flare has been shot near the bunker door. It's unknown who fired it, but we can use it to find our way back a lot more easily, and... Oh my... He lured us over! He fired the flare! He fired the flare! Okay, dodging him as best you can, using the pills to distract him, and even the pistol to temporarily blind him, you run towards the last two beacons. The church is up next, and as you approach the hill, you enter another flashback. Heading up the hill, you fight void creatures while trying not to step on landmines or get hit by artillery, until you make it to the church's doors, that are, of course, barbed behind wire, and protected by two big boys. By this point you most likely don't have enough ammo to take them outright, so you have to play it smart. Use explosive boxes, landmines, and the radio device to take care of them. However, you don't need to kill them. Why? Well, I'll show you why this is one of my favorite encounters in the game. Inside the church, we again meet the Blue Lady.
After the crash, hearing voices affected on the radio. What if I wanted to talk about
radio waves. Ancient Rainbow was said to bring radio waves and brain waves closer together. Huh. Okay, let's not jump to conclusions. We need to collect 4 tokens and get upstairs, so we get on it. Another connect the dots, and out we go into the graveyard where we find a very freshly made grave. And inside, a blue vinyl belonging to Rosemary. The blue girl. She's Dr. Rosemary. From the mayor's lab in Max's tape.
people have become walking radio towers to and from home. They hear, see unknown places, faces, drives them mad. New discoveries. Fear, just a side effect. Rainbow's true potential lies in the collective unconscious. Knowledge, experience, inherited. All mankind. Collected to the personal. One-sided, no more. Rainbow connects all. No time for this.
You're not all there today, are you? Staring out the window a lot.
Yes. I apologize.
It's about that cat of yours, Tanya, right? I'm sorry.
Hello? Can you hear me? My name is Rosemary James. I need your help.
Lucas, is everything all right?
Zero. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Ended. Now I
with the code now complete, it's time to head to the bunker. But of course it's not gonna be a smooth ride. We input the code, and the big door creaks to life, and inside, well, I'll let Miss Rosemary speak for herself.
We all have our doubts regarding Agent Rainbow. In its current state, it is an extremely volatile and dangerous fear-based weapon. But if we can make it work, make it stable, it could mean the end of conventional warfare. So many lives would be spared. I have to believe that Agent Rainbow will end up being a net positive, despite the sacrifices. I have to, especially after what happened with the ship crash. I can't help but feel that our experiments had something to do with it. Since we've been confined to this bunker as a safety measure, there's not much else we can do but continue our research. Lately, I've been hearing voices on the radio. Are these the voices of people who have been affected by Agent Rainbow? What will happen if I talk back? Agent Rainbow turns the people affected by it into a walking radio tower, transmitting and receiving knowledge and experiences to and from the collective unconscious. The people I've spoken to through the radio, they were able to describe to me in vivid detail places they've never been to, and people they've never met. It's like they have the internet inside their heads, and they're constantly uploading and downloading information. It's enough to drive anyone out of their minds. Recent discoveries made by my team have been groundbreaking, to say the least. Agent Rainbow is so much more than what we believed it to be. Its original purpose is merely a side effect. Its true potential lies with its connection to the collective unconscious, this sort of metaphysical repository of knowledge and experience, accumulated through generations of existence and inherited by every human being upon their birth. Think about it. How do babies already know how to hold their breath underwater? Why do so many people have an innate fear of snakes? It's thanks to the collective unconscious, which we're all connected to via our personal unconscious. Up until now, this connection was one-sided, but Agent Rainbow changes all that. Attention all staff. I'm invoking a strict no-talk policy regarding any and all information related to our recent discoveries. Until we fully comprehend the extent of Agent Rainbow's influence on the human mind and its implications, releasing such information for a formal review is completely irresponsible. My request to terminate this research has been denied. Someone must have leaked our results to the higher-ups because they're suddenly very interested in what we've been doing here. I can't let Meyer manipulate people's minds. I have to warn the people of Milton Haven of what's been happening. I have to find someone I can trust with this.
So, well, okay, it's a bit much, but let's try to summarize all we know so far. The town of Milton has been having trouble. Its citizens have been acting strange ever since a ship carrying unknown cargo, what we know was Agent Rainbow, crashed into the shoreline, contaminating the water supply and the people of Milton. Agent Rainbow, being a psychedelic chemical weapon used by the government way back when, now given new life due to the findings of its true effects on the human mind discovered by Dr. Rosemary James. A way to connect all humans to the collective unconscious, a repository of all human knowledge that all humans share but are only able to access one-sidedly. Agent Rainbow opening the door for true communication, a back and forth, turning people into walking radio towers, driving them mad with the overwhelming amount of information, and the original effect of Agent Rainbow, its ability to draw out the biggest fears, the shadow, the darkest part of each and every human, to the very forefront of our minds, being only a side effect. Miss Rosemary saw the danger in such a powerful substance, She knew the big suits above her would use it for their personal benefit, so she had to warn the people of Milton. She had to find someone she could trust. She had to contact Lucas. And later on, us. But how do we fit into all this? Why are we in this limbo of memories and pre-recorded tapes? The answers will be given soon enough. We go to the top of the radar, and there, our old friend comes back. We power up the radar, aim it at him, and shoot.
Lucas? Are you in there? Do you read? Lucas!
We have to repeat the cycle several times, but with each hit, we get closer to getting through to Lucas. Or at least his shadow.
It's okay. You're not alone. I believe you. Lucas knew there was more to this than meets the eye. I need to make contact with him. Anybody out there? Hello? Lucas Cole, if you can hear me, this is Desmond Wales. Do you read?
Holy hell! How are you doing this? Are you okay?
I'm hanging in there, but I could use your help. Can you get to my office?
I read you loud and clear, brother. Help is on the way.
Yes! It's all starting to make sense now.
So that's me in a nutshell, the kooky government conspiracy man. So what's the verdict, Doc? Padded room or no?
I have to admit, this is a lot to take in.
Figured you'd say as much.
I believe your conviction is genuine. I'd like to talk more about it during our next session.
Wow, that's... thanks. Hey, you know, I conducted a little security check on your building today. It's pretty lax. Practically anyone could waltz in here and stash all sorts of ill-gotten goods. Drugs, weaponry, dinosaur bones. Doc? You alright, Doc? You're not all there today, are you? Staring out the window a lot.
Yes. I apologize.
It's about that cat of yours, Tanya, right? I'm sorry.
Lucas, is everything all right?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I heard something. You didn't hear that, a woman's voice? No. Interesting. Well, I was saying, I'm sorry for your loss. She was very edible. I saw you bury her by the old church. I wasn't gonna say nothing, but what got her? Curiosity? Yes. That and... yeah.
So, it's all connected, is it?
Sadly, yes. Had I listened to Lucas sooner, maybe I wouldn't be in this mess.
Well, you listen to him now, and he listened back.
I know. I never thought something like that was possible. I hope I'm not hallucinating and that Lucas is actually coming.
Ancient Rainbow makes a lot of things possible. You probably know who's calling.
And time. You crazy son of a gun. You did it. Now we can settle this mano a mano, don't you think? I'm leaving you something by the entrance to your building. Consider it a parting gift.
A tape?
An invitation.
This is what he's been waiting for. How this ends is up to you.
Back in we go.
You got this.
All eyes on me now, open wide. You know what's wrong with you. A lethal case of deja vu. Sit on the edge, stare into the void. Maybe you're sane, or maybe just paranoid. I hear them. Oh, here comes the Savior, who can break these thoughts away from me. Oh, no more bad behavior. School my head on right from honorant feet. Ready. It's showtime. Whoa. Long have I waited for this moment. This spotlight, this stage, a stage made of mistakes, misfortune, and regret. There won't be an encore, only sweet, eternal death. But before that, congratulations are in order. Way to go, Desmond. You made it. You failed all the way to the top. You were right, you know. Your patients weren't bad people, but they were weak. Virginia could not overcome her watcher, nor could Alan his shade. Max lost heart to his bull, Lucas gone in a flash, and you succumb to me. So why have I been sneaking around, causing chaos? What's my motive? Who do I work for? Well, I'm not some government agent. I'm your Agent Rainbow. I'm everything you don't want to be. Your fears, your guilt, your paranoia, giving form. And my plan to run you ragged, chip away at your psyche to wear you down to this. It was fated to end this way. You stuck in your drug-addled mind, withering away as it shuts down. You're the captain of the SS Wales, and you're sinking. There is no escape. Soon you'll lose all control, and when that happens, I will have all of you.
Not this time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to you Death of a Therapist, Act 1, Tapes of Terror, featuring the woman who stressed herself out of existence, the Watcher. The Shade! The Raging Fool! The Bull! The man stuck staring over his shoulder! The Flash! And starring your humble protagonist, time's a-wasting, so how about we skip to the ending, where the villain gets exactly what he deserves. This is it. This is where your journey ends. What's so funny?
I'm excited to finally kick your ass.
I'm afraid that ship is sailed.
Oh yeah? Watch me.
Wait, what's that doing here? What do you think you're doing?
Virginia made an effort to change her narrative. I'm taking her lead.
Redemption is only a fantasy. Don't touch that! Do you even know what you're doing? Those tapes mean nothing.
Alan had the courage to face his fears. It's time I do the same.
Part of your mind is shutting down, don't you? If you think anything you're doing right now is going to make any difference, then you're a bigger fool than I thought.
You know what I think? I think this isn't going the way you thought it would. And it's eating you up.
This is only going down one way. With me being the final nail in your coffin. Leave that alone, you insignificant cockroach. You stubborn beast.
Even with a tough case like Max, progress was made.
change is possible.
Desmond is your only way out.
I will break free from you.
Your patience tried and failed. What makes you so special?
Their experiences, their trials and tribulations, they're a part of me now, just like you. Learning from them made me smarter, stronger.
What are you doing? Stay away from that! You are weak. Always was.
Well, if Lucas taught me anything, it's that sometimes the voices in your head, they're wrong.
Unbelievable. After everything.
You underestimated me. I don't blame you. It's in your nature to doubt me.
I've been with you your entire life, Desmond. I know every fiber of your being. I'm not something you're capable of overcoming, even in your best moments. You were living in my shadow.
I let you have a hold on me because I didn't want to confront this side of myself. Didn't want to believe it exists. Not anymore. I accept you. I accept my guilt, my fears, my insecurities. I accept them all. And I choose to keep going.
And you think that overriding me will do the trick? Touch that player and I'll kill you! You can't just record over me. I won't allow it!
I'm afraid our time is up. The next time you want to talk to me, make an appointment. Unexpected turn of events, it seems that I'm coming out the other side. Why and how this is all happening is becoming clear, and as strange as this is, I am equally as fascinated as I am mad. Life for me will never be the same. I'm grateful to survive, but at what cost? I am yet to know. While I can see the fog clearing, I can also feel my skull. My brain is pulsing. Something is different. Meyer and the government think they have autonomous control over us, that they can shove us around and we'll take it. They fail to realize that by pushing a bird out of its nest, you teach it to fly. I'm going on record. Meyer's gonna pay for what they've done. To Virginia, to Alan, to Max, Lucas, Rosemary, to Milton, to everyone. I am right. I am just. I am alive, and I am in sound mind. Come and tell me otherwise. Hey.
I'm really proud of you, Desmond. But...
What?
Well, we're still here, aren't we?
Man, I hope I'm not stuck in here forever.
Time will tell. Patience and grace. Here. I think you can handle what's in your locked room now. If you have any unfinished business, take care of it and meet me on the roof when you're ready.
We go to our room and unlock the door that has been locked since the very beginning of the game. On the bed is a list of things on Desmond's mind. What's on my mind? What isn't? I don't feel good. Death. There's an odd smell in the building. I miss her. The weight of the world. To the right of the bed, a note from someone Desmond really cares about. Desmond, please don't hate me for this. I know you'd say you wouldn't, but I know you. You gave me 4 years, for which I am eternally grateful. The time we spent together means the world to me, and I know it did for you as well, despite everything. Big butt coming, but I just can't do it anymore. I want happiness, Desmond. Happiness. I know it comes from a good place, but your overprotectiveness of me and your increasing paranoia about who knows what at the moment are making me crazy and doubtful. You are so special, so smart, and so loving, but you sometimes can't see past your own emotions and problems, more often than not. How can you be there for me when you're barely able to leave your own head? I sometimes question how you ever ended up choosing a career being there for other people. I love you, Desmond. I'm sorry. Take care of Tanya. Magdalena. And on his table, the note to someone Desmond really cares about. My dearest Tanya, my heart is heavy with grief. The void you left behind is unexpected. Words alone cannot describe how sorry I am for my actions. My ignorance of the toxic relationship between the cat and the lily flower has left me a smarter man who feels like a fool. I sit in my office, slipping into memories of you knocking shit off my table and looking to me for affirmation. Thoughts of you sitting beside me, curiously listening to the troubles of others and helping them by accepting their flaws and letting them pet you, are, and forever will be, priceless memories. Thank you, my dear friend, for countless days of playful calm, for reciprocated love, and for choosing me. Desmond. Next to the note are 2 patient files, one of Desmond himself and one for Tanya. And that is almost everything. There are secrets hidden around the game that I've missed. Some I didn't cover on purpose, but you can go find them yourself. They're worth it. With everything done, it's time to head up to the roof.
I wish this ending could have been a happier one.
But
life doesn't work that way. Getting rid of me will be the challenge of a lifetime. You may have won the battle, but you've only saved yourself. Agent Rainbow is still out there, and you are powerless to stop what's coming.
Don't listen to him. He's afraid because he knows exactly what you're capable of.
What am I capable of?
Time will tell. Patience and grace.
So, this is goodbye?
You said goodbye before. I wouldn't lose any sleep on it.
I'm sorry. It was my fault. I should have known.
You did your best. You loved me, and that's all I ever cared about. Besides, I live on. In your head, so that's something.
Thank you, Tanya. For everything. You're a real cool cat.
Yeah. I know.
Desmond! Desmond, can you hear me? Are you in there? Damn it! Desmond! You're breathing. Yes. I heard you, man. I heard you in the back of my mind. My goodness, what did you do to this place? Judging by the package on the table, I guess they got to you before I did. Bastards. You'll be all right, my friend. Rest. And when you feel better, we'll take the fight to them.
And that is In Sound Mind. And oh my god, what an adventure. Making this video was the biggest creative undertaking I've done so far YouTube-wise, but man, was this game worth all the effort. The love and creativity from the developers, the stellar voice acting and amazing music and sound work elevate the already very good story into absolute glory. Yes, the game has its negatives, biggest among them the optimization, but again, for someone like me, that's not a big deal. Overall, I love this game and would recommend it to anyone wanting to try playing horror games for the first time, or someone just looking for a good, well-written story complemented by everything around it. The ending with Lucas may have been a cliffhanger for a second game, but I haven't found much evidence for that online, and honestly, I think a second game wouldn't make much sense, or at least not in the same genre as the first. Whether a second game ever comes out or not, In Sound Mind is an amazing experience, so to everyone at We Create Stuff, at Modus, the Living Tombstone, the voice actors, and everyone and anyone who helped this game become a reality, thank you.